out to sick the poor lamb. But we are the power duo tonight that will be known as the Independents. The NSA is a problem that won't go away for the president. If Edward Snowden were just a disloyal, lying jerk, why would the president be offering reforms? Outgoing NSA Director Keith Alexander says the data Edward Snowden holds could, if released, lead to deaths.
Do you know what he has?
We have a good assessment of what he has, yes.
And is there a lot more damaging to come?
Yes, especially to our military operations and those who are serving overseas.
Could somebody die from the release of this information?
Yes, that's what my greatest concern is.
I think he has no idea what he's talking about. I think he has no idea what Edward Snowden has, and that's what terrifies him. By the way, pretty serious accusation there. So let's talk to Michigan Representative Justin Amash. He's a founding member of the House Liberty Caucus. Welcome, Congressman.
Thanks, Kennedy. Thanks for having me on.
I'm very pleased to see you in the Independence wheelhouse. So tell me, is General Alexander totally off base?
No, not totally off base. I think there are some dangers that could come of this. But if Edward Snowden hadn't done what he did, we wouldn't have the information we need now to make some reforms to the NSA that are critically important to the American people.
And I know you have your own reforms that you have been pushing, and I'd like to talk about those. But first, tell me about what the president is offering. How far does it go? Does it go far enough? Are you moving in the right direction, or is he just placating people who are upset with him now?
I don't think we have enough information about the president's reform proposal. I haven't seen a copy of it yet. I do think that the administration and the Intelligence Committee are moving in a direction where it looks like they're offering some real reforms without much substance behind it. And I think it's mostly an effort to placate people, to get people to forget that there's a real problem here. There is a bill that will fix these problems, that will deal with this in a comprehensive way. That's the USA Freedom Act. I'm a co-author of that bill. It has over 140 co-sponsors. And if the administration and Congress are serious about reforming these programs, they need to pass the USA Freedom Act.
Is Dianne Feinstein and other late-breaking interests in civil liberties, at least the civil liberties of Congress members, are they showing a renewed interest either in your bill or in the overall notion of kind of internet freedom and privacy?
Well, we saw with Senator Feinstein, she believes she was spied on and all of a sudden she cares about it. That's true of a lot of people on the Intelligence Committee who haven't been concerned enough about this issue until it's them who are receiving the end of it. But look, we have to push forward with real reforms. Most members of Congress are behind it. I'm not confident that members of the Intelligence Committee in either party will get behind real reforms. But the Judiciary Committee is serious about it. There are lots of members of Congress on both sides who are serious about it. And we've got a strong bipartisan coalition because the American people are behind us.
So if the Amash Conyers amendment were up for vote today, do you think it would pass? Do you think that the tide has shifted in your favor just in a few months?
Yeah, the Amash Conyers amendment would pass. The USA Freedom Act would pass if we brought it to the floor. There's been a lot of stalling, I think, because they wanted to get the president's proposal out there and get the Intelligence Committee proposals out there. But again, those are proposals that don't really change the system. They move where the data is stored, but they don't change the amount of information that the NSA can collect. So, for example, with the Intelligence Committee legislation, the NSA may have even more powers than it currently has based on the language of the bill. So they may be spying on more Americans without authority.
Okay, so next year, Section 215 of the Patriot Act expires. And let me ask you, what are the changes specifically that you are looking for?
Well, we want to narrow the scope of the Patriot Act so that when we're going after relevant information, it's actually relevant to a particular terror investigation. Currently, the government can use broad sweeps. It can collect everyone's information because they're arguing that everyone's information might be relevant. Well, that's a ridiculous interpretation of relevant. Nobody interprets relevant that way. No court of law interprets relevant that way, except for the FISA court, apparently. So we've got to return to a more reasonable standard. And we also have to give more access to members of Congress when it comes to the opinions of the FISA court. We've got to give more information out to the public as well so they know what our government is doing.
Congressman, you certainly believe in your career so far, at least, suggests that there is an available politics for people who run on heavy protection of civil liberties. If that is the case, which of the two major political parties is doing the most to exploit this?
Well, the Republican Party has an opportunity here to take advantage. The president has been terrible on civil liberties, and we've got an opportunity to bring young people into the party. That's what I've been trying to do. I've got a House Liberty Caucus. I'm the chairman of that group, and we have about 24 to 30 members who are getting together on every other week.
Is the House Liberty Caucus, by the way, is that the most bipartisan group on Congress, do you think?
Well, we've brought Democrats into the group to meet with us on various issues, including the NSA issue. We're happy to work with Democrats where we can get real reforms. We don't care which party we're working with as long as we are limiting the scope and size of government. That's what we were brought here to do, to follow the Constitution, to defend people's rights, and we'll work with anyone, whether it's a Republican, a Democrat, or anyone else.
Why not be an independent? Why stick with the Republican Party?
We'll work with independents as well.
All right, Congressman Amash, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Absolutely. Well done. First appearance on The Independents. The Obamacare delay. Why is the president making New Yorkers the subject of his creepy hypothetical? Does he know something? Andy Levy joins our panel next. Stay with us.
Every time I try